One of my favorite lights that is so powerful is remote phosphor. And these lights have really started to sweep the industry because they're incredibly beautiful with skin tones. And they're incredibly bright, as well as the ability to be able to go 3200, 4300, 5600, as well as green screen and blue screen. It was an epiphany for me when I started lighting green screen and blue screens with them, because the old way of lighting screens was putting a lot of Kino flows with green or a lot of sky panels. With these, you could do a 20 by 30 with just 2 of these Cineo HS2s. They're incredibly efficient and incredibly bright, and they do a perfect balance on the screen. That's what I was blown away with.
We calculate 1 light per 20 feet of green screen, and that's even a little much. You can almost do 1 light for 30 feet if you have enough distance between them.
They make smaller versions of this. On adventures, I was using the matchsticks that are like 12 inches long. They're very small. I was hiding them for dashboard lights dimmed way down. I was putting them, embedding them in sets so they actually look like they existed in there, as well as the Mavericks, which are even a smaller version of this. Remember, Eric, on Babysitter, we were using these things in your soft boxes. We were able to move these soft boxes around because these things weigh hardly anything, but they have tons of output.
I use these in soft boxes for key lights on my shows almost 100% of the time. And these are our key lights because the color is so damn good. It's insane how good high the CRI is in this light. What these guys have come up with is they've used their proprietary phosphor, which makes this really good colored light out of blue LED light. They've put the phosphor, instead of on these panels, they're on each LED package in this light. So now it's a bicolor unit, but it has really high CRI. It's not mixing RGB or RGBW or RGBAW. It's using 1 color LED, and then they use very specific phosphors to create a bicolor light, so now you can dial this like a sky panel.
And we always talk in stops, a half stop, a full stop, all right? This is the language of film, and now it's been tossed on to digital. Well, so many times I'll say, hey, dim it down 10%, dim it down 15%. What is that? I'm looking for a third of a stop, I'm looking for a half a stop, I'm looking for a full stop. This actually has increments built into it. So if you're at 65 and you go to 75, that's a half a stop.
Yes.
And then
every
when you
10% is half a stop.
Every 10% is half a stop. Where all the other lights, that never is.
On the other lights, it's a scale that I know. So you tell me I want half a stop left, and I know that's maybe about 10%, maybe, or 5%.
Exactly.
Depending on the
light.
light.
But they've actually dialed
the
the logarithm in to be able to make that scale. So by just decreasing it, you're getting your half
it's
stop.
The same every time.
It just makes everything faster. You don't have to sit there and fumble for it. That's just a little, it's like all these things increase speed and efficiency on set.
I was saying we run these in soft boxes. We don't keep the ballast on it. We keep the ballast out at the distro box where we have our DMX, and then we have a tiny little head cable they have that runs into the set and into the box, and then you just have the actual red portion in the box.
Which is somewhat like this. It's very lightweight.
Yeah, and we're running these in soft boxes that are only 18 inches deep, which means you can really stick them in a corner. We can put them on end tables. We do stuff like that all the time.
Well, that's what I love.
And it's a pretty big source, and because you have the output, it really gives you a lot of range with them.
All right, so let's see the HS2 as well as the new HSX in our little light study. Full up.
Let's see how bright that gets. I mean,
all right.
It's almost as bright as the sky panel, and the sky panel is a hell of a lot heavier.
8 6/10. So where was the sky panel? The sky panel was at full up, 8 6/10.
Oh, wow.
So we're exactly the same as the sky panel.
They've gotten better then since I tested them 2 years ago.
That is impressive. Let's cut that for a second. Let's see how well this baby cuts. Not so bad. There's kind of a soft vibe going on there. Yeah, I love how it falls off. All right, now let me take a CRI on this as well, and then we have our 5600, so we can just see what this shield sets up at. Fly the flag out. Yeah, 97. This CRI on this is absolutely incredible. That's why they look so good with skin. I just really love how they look.
Want to bounce it?
All right, let's bounce it. Watch these.
Yeah, it's okay.
All right.
The smaller profile also doesn't block as much of your bounce.
Correct.
Which is huge.
4 6/10 on the bounce. All right, now let's go daylight. Let's see how that thing performs.
So we just gotta shut her down to do that. It turns off.
You don't want to look at that light either.
Good.
Okay, 4 8/10 is on the bounce. So it's 2/10 brighter. Now let's go direct.
About there.
8. So in the tungsten mode, it's about a half stop brighter. Interesting. All right, let's see where our CRIs are with that. Our CRI goes to about 95, so it just drops a couple points in daylight mode. Now let's look at it in backlight, and you have 5600 in, so that'll be the nice combo here. Yes, looks nice on the backlight. Very much like what the Sky panel was giving us in the kind of softness quality. Good skin tones. All right, now let's look at our HS2.
Yes.
See what that thing's all about. This light, you don't have to deal with any of the shields. It's bicolor. They're using the blue, and they're embedding the phosphorus onto the blue LEDs. Look at that. That looks good.
So you want 32, Shane?
Okay, let's go up in the air with it a little bit.
That's 32 there.
All right. 8 2/10.
Nice.
So that's very nice. All right, let's go daylight. Now, I'm not changing any shields, so I can just quickly dial it right to 5600.
Yes.
Bam.
You press the button, and it toggles through the normal stops of color, 32, 38, 43, 48, 56, which is pretty cool.
And an 8. So that's really nice. Again, quick ability to be able to do that adjustment, not having to deal with the phosphor shields. A very compact light that can be very lightweight, put in soft boxes, and has a ton of punch.